Carney humiliated. Brazenly claims credit for deal he never made. Ducks TFW fix. In the early months of 2025, Canada experienced a dramatic political shift as Mark Carney assumed the role of Prime Minister. Carney, known internationally for his leadership at the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, brought a reputation for economic expertise and global financial insight. Yet, his tenure has been quickly scrutinized, particularly over his administration's handling of the Temporary Foreign Worker (TFW) program, which many Canadians see as a source of growing labor and housing pressures. Critics argue that the program's expansion under Carney is displacing local workers, especially younger Canadians entering the job market for the first time. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has emerged as a vocal critic of the TFW program, highlighting its impact on Canadian employment and wages. Poilievre points to the dramatic increase in TFW hiring by companies like Tim Hortons, which reportedly increased its foreign worker hires by over 1,100% in the past 4 years. With the Liberal government on track to surpass 200,000 TFW permits this year, breaking all previous records, Poilievre argues that the program has become a systemic issue, forcing Canadian youth into a labor market with fewer opportunities and higher barriers to homeownership. Prime Minister Carney has defended the program, framing it as essential for filling labor shortages in industries such as hospitality, agriculture, and healthcare. He stresses that businesses rely on foreign workers to maintain operations and meet growing consumer demand. Yet, critics argue that this short-term solution fails to address the long-term consequences for Canadian workers, leaving local employees underemployed or stuck in low-wage positions while foreign labor fills permanent roles. The debate intensified in 2025 as official reports revealed that over 105,000 TFW permits had been granted by mid-year, exceeding the government's annual target of 82,000. This surge has amplified concerns about whether the Carney administration is prioritizing Canadian workers, or if the program primarily benefits corporate interests that seek cheap, flexible labor. The numbers have fueled public frustration, particularly among younger Canadians struggling with unemployment and housing affordability. Amid the TFW controversy, Carney launched the $5 billion Canadian dollars by Canada Fund to support domestic industries impacted by U.S. tariffs, signaling a focus on economic resilience and self-reliance. This initiative is framed as a move to reduce dependence on foreign markets while strengthening Canadian businesses. While the program is praised for its intent, skeptics argue that it does not address the deeper labor market issues created by the unrestrained expansion of temporary foreign workers. Critics maintain that without meaningful TFW reform, programs like Buy Canada risk being symbolic rather than substantive. While domestic businesses may receive support, Canadian workers still face intense competition for entry-level and mid-tier jobs, leading to wage suppression and increased economic insecurity. Calls for comprehensive reform have intensified, emphasizing the need to prioritize Canadians in employment and ensure fair working conditions. Canada's broader economic environment has amplified these concerns. The economy contracted by 1.6% in the second quarter of 2025, and unemployment rates continue to climb. Rising living costs, particularly in housing and basic necessities, have added urgency to debates about labor policy. Citizens and policymakers alike are now forced to reckon with the social and economic consequences of relying heavily on temporary foreign labor. In this climate, the TFW program has become a central issue in discussions about labor rights, immigration policy, and economic strategy. Advocates for Canadian workers argue that reform is critical, emphasizing the need to protect domestic jobs while still allowing industries to access labor when absolutely necessary. The debate highlights the tension between economic growth and equitable employment opportunities for Canadians. Supporters of the TFW program, however, stress its importance in filling persistent labor shortages in agriculture, healthcare, hospitality, and other essential sectors. They argue that without foreign labor, many Canadian businesses would struggle to operate at full capacity, which could slow economic growth and limit services across the country. Balancing these perspectives is essential to shaping effective and fair policy. The TFW issue illustrates a larger challenge: how to craft immigration and labor policies that support both economic development and Canadian workers. It requires nuanced policymaking that accounts for the realities of global labor markets while ensuring that Canadians have access to stable, well-compensated employment. Without such balance, economic inequality and labor market tensions are likely to intensify. As the debate over temporary foreign workers unfolds, it is clear that Carney faces significant scrutiny over his approach. The Prime Minister's dual focus on economic growth and global market integration is being weighed against the immediate needs of Canadians who are struggling to find jobs and afford homes. The outcomes of these policies will have lasting effects on the workforce, housing affordability, and overall economic stability. In conclusion, the TFW program has become emblematic of broader issues in Canada's labor and immigration policy. Poilievre and other critics demand that the government prioritize Canadians first, reforming programs that they see as undermining domestic employment. As the country navigates these challenges, the conversation underscores the need for balanced policies that protect workers, foster sustainable growth, and maintain fairness in the labor market. Canada's ability to achieve this balance will shape its economic and social future.